I've been explaining to Gwendolyn for years that her father loves her, but it's not up to me to explain Cody's love. That's Cody's task. Every word, every insult, every thought is met in full. I think the same about them. The one thing I wish Ronald's children would understand is that we don't forgive him. Cody continues to get deeper and deeper. I honestly can't believe the things he's saying about his own children. I'm stunned. The guy is a complete disaster on TV. The karmic consequences he'll eventually face in this life would break most people. But for him, it's just part of the course. Classic example of emotional immaturity. Imagine telling your kids, "No, you're a duty head." That's seriously his level of parenting. And don't even begin with his victim play, particularly with his last wife, Savannah Robin. He's called his children jerks, blamed them for gossiping and lying, and even called their body parts pencils. By that time, I'd be going no contact as well. He says they're jealous. Honestly, it's easy to see why most of the original family members have written him off. What's insane is that he doesn't even know it. He's the adult, they're the children. It's his job to make things right, to correct it. But no, that would take emotional maturity, and that's something he's severely lacking. Instead, he and Robin are obviously living off that us versus them attitude. It's like watching a train wreck in slow motion. We have a lot to cover today, so let's not waste any time. Let's get right into it. Hi everyone, what's up? Hey friends, welcome back. I'm Emma, and this is TLC Wives, Cancel Cody. It's time, folks. In this progressive cancel culture, where everyone's suddenly an expert on mental health and its deeper causes, how is it that we're still giving Cody a platform? Seriously. As a viewer whose direct contribution to the success of the show is showing up in these people's pockets indirectly through my opinions, I cannot support Cody and his toxic energy in good faith anymore. I'm finished. Now, the man doesn't even deserve a voice. TLC needs to concentrate on the emotional damage Cody has obviously inflicted through some questionable parenting decisions and how to deal with that debacle. But if Cody doesn't want to take responsibility and humble himself, just get rid of him. It's that easy. And for real, I'm done with Robin and her kids too. I don't care about any of them. They'll do whatever it takes to put their little tribe first, even if it costs everyone else around them. It's gross, and I won't enable it. Disagree if you want, but I'm out. Agreed. I skip every scene with Cody and Robin, literally. Fire him. He's only there to create drama. And guess what? Drama gets viewers. That's why he's still on the show, even though his entire storyline feels as scripted as a reality TV moment. It's been fake for a long time now. He's toxic and doesn't deserve the spotlight. And let's not forget about Robin and her two stepdaughters tagging along. The show is finished. The marriages have ended, and we've seen enough. One more season of revealing what happens after all these divorces is all that remains. Everybody's gone on with their lives. There's no longer any story to tell. Seriously, TLC, if you really feel like experimenting with a spin-off of the OG3, then do it. I won't be watching, but sure, do whatever you must do. All right, let's compare this week's show to last week's then. I know, everyone despised how they dealt with Garrison's death last week. But for me, I thought it was done pretty well. The way they took those little everyday moments, only to have everything turn around with that phone call, was perfect. It really nailed that sensation of being blindsided by tragedy. You're just going along your day, and suddenly everything's turned around. It was real and raw. But this week, where do I even begin? We're getting all these random, seemingly meaningless montages of Cody, Robin, and the kids just existing their lives in Wyoming. They're off living their lives. Meanwhile, the rest of the family is, actually grieving. Christine and David are playing cards. And then, all of a sudden, it hits them. Janelle and Savannah are over at the Humane Society, and boom, feelings strike again. But Cody and Robin, they're just having a ball on some holiday. Fun, excitement, nostalgia, pride. Just the whole fun and games process. Not even a word of Garrison. No remembrance, no acknowledgement of his memory. Nothing. Not even a brief aside such as, "Hey, do you remember when Garrison used to adore this place?" No. Rather, as Robin so considerately described it, it was just fun. Fun. Come on. In all honesty, I came close to switching the channel. I couldn't endure any more of their egocentric narcissism. If they continued, swear to God, I was finished. Thankfully, they moved back to Janelle and Savannah's Humane Society trip and actually focused on something meaningful. Mourning Garrison. What a breath of fresh air. Now, I've seen some complaints about last week's episode not being all about Garrison, but here's the thing. That's actually great storytelling. Garrison wasn't just some side character in the background. He was a big part of their lives. One episode wouldn't do his life justice. Last week was the shock of tragedy striking out of the blue, in the middle of a routine day. This week, it's about the family attempting to get on with their lives, but they can't help but be reminded of their loss. Like Savannah with the peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, or Christine with the entire stripper debacle. You could sense their grief creeping back in, even in the tiniest, most mundane moments. And Janelle at the Humane Society? Honestly, I was crying right along with her. That moment hit hard. Now let's discuss Cody. Since obviously he's always somewhat of an enigma, correct? I think I want to go back and rewatch his interviews. He was emotional there, but on the trip to Wyoming? No emotions, no tales about bringing Garrison there as a child, or any special experiences. Was that too much for his delicate manhood to bear? I truly don't get it. Perhaps he's so proud that he won't display emotion in public, hell if I know. But in those sit-down interviews, he's all tearful-eyed, so it's not as if he can't do it. I just don't understand. And on the subject of things I don't understand, what was that exchange with Cody and Aspen? Or was it maybe someone else? But whatever. Robin needed to turn it into some huge drama-filled showdown. For real. What was that even about? And don't even get me started on the fact that Cody somehow remains totally out of touch. I fast-forwarded through the majority of his scenes with his family in Wyoming because they were just that uncomfortable. Nobody's interested in your signs, Cody, or that you used to sell them when you actually did have to earn a living. You're on this life-altering journey, and yet, somehow, you're still not getting it. I'll give him credit for this, though. I saw his diary scenes, and for once, you could actually see that he was grappling with the loss. I could sense the burden of it in his lines, but for real, it's obvious that he's also fighting the guilt of missing out on Garrison's life. He can't deny that, even if he's trying to. At the end of the day, grief is messy. Sometimes you need a distraction so you don't totally spin out. It's not about fixating on the person you lost, or you'd never leave your bed. That's why Christine went to the movies, most likely hoping to take her mind off things. But guess what? Grief always manages to creep back in. And David said it best. If you're feeling like crying, cry. If you're feeling like being mad, be mad. Mourning doesn't have to take up residence inside you in order to exist. But don't say that to Cody, because apparently he didn't receive that memo. Janelle. Wow, I don't even know what to say. She's this gorgeous, amazing woman who's been through absolutely everything and still remains this rock of strength. I'm over here bawling my eyes out, and look at her over there being her sweet, caring mama. It's written all over her babies. They're all proof of just how amazing she is. I'm totally torn up for her right now. For real, Lord have mercy. I was sobbing watching them at the Humane Society on this week's episode, and let me tell you, I'm already a huge advocate for rescues, but this episode was such a beautiful tribute to Garrison. It hit me right in the feels. Janelle's words regarding Savannah, Maddie, herself, and her mother really struck home. She spoke of, we feel things deeply. We just don't always show it. Wow, that hit a chord. Just because a person's smiling does not mean that they're not hurting. This episode, total tearjerker. Watching this very strong woman so completely devastated by loss that she couldn't even speak, my heart shattered right along with hers. And Savannah? She was the pillar for her mother, being so strong throughout. I have no idea why Christine's girls admire Janelle the way they do, but now I do. She's one tough mama bear, and she gives all her love. You just have to admire her. Then, Robin's recent statement about needing to feel like it's going to be a sad day really got to me. She's discussing how she'll be burying her 10-year-old so-called child, and the best she can do is mention it may be a sad day. That is all the evidence you needed to see that she is totally detached. She is a complete monster. It's very evident Garrison was never genuinely her son, but merely Cody's son. Within the last 2 episodes, never has she said she is sad. Always Cody is sad, or the day is sad, or the situation is sad. Never, I am sad. Typical Robin. And don't even talk to me about the town tour with the children, in which they didn't even say Garrison's name. Solomon and Ariella may not have known him so well, but Aurora and Brianna grew up partly with him. We've already heard Madison, Gabriel, and Savannah speak about Garrison, but the sheltered 4? Crickets. And now Robin's just going to have a yucky day? Seriously, that's too polite. I truly believe she's pushing her children onto Cody because she's afraid he might get back with his other children. That's most likely her worst fear. Losing control of him. She can't have him bonding with the others, not after all she's done to isolate and manipulate him. Her hypocrisy? Off the charts. For years, she complained about how her kids weren't fully accepted. But here she is, the one who never accepted the other kids. This is the final nail in the coffin. The undeniable proof she never saw them as her own. She wasted all of that time playing the victim, acting like her children were being treated unjustly, when in fact, she's the one who's rejecting them. I try my best to above it all and be the bigger person, but I just can't with Robin. I'm sure she's actually evil, and I'm not being dramatic. Evil. Having Robin and Cody participate in the memorial episodes has done more damage to their reputation than anything else they've ever done. There's no going back from this. They've cemented themselves as the worst individuals on television. I didn't think this season could possibly get any worse, but somehow TLC managed to do it. This episode was an absolute disaster. And of course, it was all about Baldox and Soen, who, incidentally, have no actual relationship with Garrison. Baldox, ever the content creator, used Garrison's story for the show, telling Janelle to kick them out like it was a performance. Then, the way they spoke to Soen when he asked for more time with his father? Absolutely heartless. They even made fun of their actions during COVID, and Baldylocks casually mentions that he'd punch them out for getting his pencil wet. Really? That's where we're at? Meanwhile, Dayton, who they really purchased an RV for, was utterly disregarded. He wasn't even permitted to be included in the narrative. It's as if Garrison is merely another prop for material, even in death. They took so long boring us with tales of signs they sold and how they were built. So much attention on that. But no one even bothered mentioning Garrison or the memories he had shared with his family. And that second time, Baldylocks indicated that he wanted to put him in the ground? That is not just disrespecting him, but disgraceful. Why is it such an issue with him? Just get Garrison out of there, right? While Janelle, Mary, and Christine did address their memories of him, but we hardly got any quality time with the family before being pulled back into the Soen and Baldox drama. That's it. I'm done after this. I'll watch the tell-all for closure, but that's all. TLC has reached an all-time low, and I'm not hanging around for the rest of it. Baldox and Robin have become complete opportunists, milking every ounce they can out of this show. Without the OG3, they're completely dull. Every scene they're in feels scripted. Honestly, it's some of the worst acting I've seen. And Robin, she spent all these years keeping her kids out of the spotlight, barely lifting a finger, but now that her share of the TLC paycheck is slipping away, she has no choice but to push herself and her kids into the limelight. That picture of Garrison? It's worth more than all of the art in Robin's own house put together. TLC is finally pulling back the veil and allowing us to see the true Cody and Robin, no longer hiding behind any illusion. They're allowing us to see them for what they really are, and it's ugly. The scenes that make them come off badly are being included, most likely because they realize that they help to counteract the fluff and make them appear worse. And don't even start with how they squandered the real emotional moment at the Humane Society. The one where Janelle and Savannah were introduced to the room that is devoted to Garrison and the cats his memory saved. That moment was gorgeous. But TLC truncated it to return us to Wyoming with more of Cody boasting about his childhood. It was a face punch, and frankly, the editing just had poor taste. I did try to cut some slack for Cody and Robin last time and considered that everyone deals with grief in a different way. But this episode, the difference between the way Cody and his ex-wives and children deal with the loss is stark. Mary, Christine, Janelle, Savannah, Gabe, and Maddie all spoke of Garrison's humanity, his generosity, his giving nature. It was sincere and powerful. And then you have Cody, who can't speak of Garrison without making it about him. I held him first. I was his father. I need to bring him home. It was truly infuriating. This episode was a disaster, and I'm done. It's time for the OG3 to move on. And for me to finally move on from this show too. I watched it twice, and somehow I cried even harder the second time. This episode was so well done. It almost felt like the producers actually cared about the family. Beginning with Janelle was certainly the right choice. She was amazingly courageous to even participate in this episode. And those photographs, so many gorgeous shots of him with his loved ones, that one of him scattering flower petals, totally gut-wrenching. Big kudos to Gabe for returning on the show. He must have felt secure enough with the producers to be that open on camera. Not an easy thing to do. Then there was Christine, genuinely crying for real. Usually, she's all about the phony tears, but this time, when she referenced that movie, you could tell it struck close to home. I love that they titled the episode after that quote. It was the icing on the cake. And don't even mention to me all the sky and starburst shots. A straight shot to the tear ducts. Janelle was just so brutally honest about all of this and what came before it, particularly about her depression, anxiety, and alcohol problems. We absolutely need to discuss these sorts of things more when we notice our loved ones experiencing them. Listening to Maddie explain how they were attempting to get Garrison to come closer, it was just a wonderful reminder that his entire family recognized his suffering and wanted to assist. Honestly, I was in the mood for a good cry, and this episode did not disappoint. They absolutely nailed how they managed everything. Oh, where do I start? Cody just absolutely loves to talk about himself, doesn't he? And not subtly, there's just this ongoing monologue about his sorrow and his emotions. And I'm not saying that sorrow is not real, but whereas everyone else is going on about Garrison, the things he enjoyed, the memories, all Cody can do is turn it about himself. Am I judging him too harshly? Perhaps. But it really was glaring. Then the stark contrast between what the other parents were doing and Cody's activities. They were all participating in quality moments, while Cody, he's getting ready to sit through a Wild West shootout. His child just died, and here he is, sitting through a staged shootout. Talk about tone deaf? Honestly, I was glad when it rained out. It just didn't feel right. Jumping on a stagecoach ride for pleasure while your son's dealing with an actual crisis. Back at home, meanwhile, you have these quiet, actual moments. Gardening, cooking, saying grace. There's such a stark difference in tone. The scenes with Jen felt so much more real. Cody's kids, however, just seemed to be bored, sitting there, listening to him go on about his outside sign business. Yawn. And that I held him first statement, are we 5 years old? What are you talking about, Cody? How many diapers did you change him? How many night-night stories did you read him? How much assistance did you actually provide for him? When I last saw you, you didn't even know that Garrison purchased a home, a vehicle, and entered school. Garrison was the one who worked hard, prospering without being given handouts by his parents, still making time for family and friends along the way. Honestly, that Wyoming trip seemed like it was all about Cody. The burial was just another plotline for him. I'm done hearing him go on. And Robin too? I think this could be my final season. As usual, it's Sunday, and I've been rewatching some old episodes, but the baptism episode really stood out. Especially when Robin starts talking about how the family isn't doing enough. Keeping God in the family, dealing with jealousy, and essentially not handling things. Remember when Janelle actually tried to have a serious conversation? She queried whether this was still the lifestyle they wanted, opened the lines of discourse around how they might make things better. And what did Robin do? made it all personal, turned herself into the victim, and acted so bewildered at why Janelle ever questioned that everything was okay. This was before COVID, and it makes one think, what exactly did Robin ever do to really make things improve? She behaves as if she's been working hard, but still doesn't get what the issue is. This is the thing. The more Robin speaks about the past or present, the more it's evident that her concept of polygamy was essentially the same as her mother's form. She never really cared to connect with the other wives, except for the cameras. She wasn't concerned about the kids unless it benefited her. It was as if her entire concern was to get the lion's share of everything. Unless it was something for the filming, she didn't care about the needs of anyone else. She almost seemed to put family funds into use as her shopping spree, acquiring random things just to make sure she got everything she desired before the next person could get it. Nothing about her behavior suggests she was ever interested in a real, polygamous lifestyle, just the kind that mirrored her mom's, where she could live in her little bubble. Honestly, I'm convinced Robin's tears only come when reality doesn't match the fairy tale she's carefully crafted for herself. Let me know what you're thinking in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. I'll catch you in the next video. Take care and lots of love to you all.